Hello, welcome to the new format of Through a Therapist's Eyes. See how I did that, Craig? We got a new format going.
Yeah,
Thus, I guess, new quick introductions to the show.
that's right.
I am Chris Gazdick. He is Craig Graves. I am a mental health and substance abuse therapist. He is an unbeatable mind coach. We highlighted his wininyourmind.com. I'm going to be selfish and highlight the Re-Understanding Emotions and Becoming Your Best Self book that actually, I think recently, has been made available to the public across the world with Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Goodreads.com. It's a cool book, man.
It's
You
good.
read it.
I've read it. It's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I recommend it.
So we welcome you to Through a Therapist's Eyes, the podcast, where you see the world through the lens of a therapist and a coach. But be aware it's not delivery of therapy services in any way. Check out throughatherapistseyes.com, where you get full show transcriptions. And Neil, how you doing on making that website look and sound awesome? How you doing, man?
Making progress.
He says making progress. And he is, man. Check it out. I think there's a lot of cool things on there that stoke him, man. He needs your compliments of the good hard work that he's doing on that. Mr. Graves, this is the human emotional experience. What shall we do you think?
Figure it out together.
All right. So we are getting back to the golden circle of marriage, man. I think that we were talking about accepting your spouse, and we're going deeper into the second part where we mentioned last week, or last week. That's funny. Yeah, I guess it was just yesterday, right? Not last week. Where we defined expression. Making known one's thoughts or feelings. How do we express, right? We express things verbally and also non-verbally. Okay? You don't really think about, do you know what percentage of the things that we say, Craig, are verbal, and what percentage of the things that we say are nonverbal? You ever hear this?
I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you have to say, but I'm sure that the number of the things that we, would you say, convey are a lot higher.
That we express verbally versus what we express non-verbally.
What we express non-verbally, I'm going to think is a lot higher.
Way.
Yeah.
It's like 80-20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 80-20, man. I mean, we like to think of the words that we say, and we try to choose our words wisely, but dude, what did I just say to you when I looked at you like?
Yeah, that's why text messages are so screwed up, because you have no idea what's behind the message.
What did my facial expression just say to you?
Your facial expression was a confused look.
Yeah, and I'm looking down, and I squinted my eyes, I moved my head back on my shoulders, and I had this wry smile on my face, right?
Yeah.
None of that comes through on text. You're right.
And also the sound of our voices too, I guess, makes a big difference. But definitely,
it makes a difference.
Definitely facial expressions, man, and nonverbal cues are huge.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a difference, Greg. Yeah. I just gave you 3 messages.
Yeah. It's big.
So think about that when you're expressing things. You're expressing them in the way that you look. Your nonverbal greeting. Your spouse walks in the room and you walk out of the room. Like, what is that saying? How are you expressing things to them?
Well, it depends on why you're walking out, but it's not really.
Yeah.
It can be a bad thing.
And how you're walking out.
Yeah,
the stomping of the feet that little kids express.
The huffy puffiness if you're huffy puffy and walk out. Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Oh my God,
there,
eye rolls.
Communication is not just words.
It is a lot to do with your nonverbal, and when you're trying to convey, we're coming to that next. When you're trying to express, look at your nonverbals, man. We do a thing in therapy where, we take videos of ourselves. You ever watch any of those videos you've been doing lately, Craig?
Yes.
Right?
Don't like to watch myself.
The weird.
Yes.
It's terrifying to see how you come off and how you look when you literally look at yourself from a totally other perspective.
It's definitely weird.
Right?
Hopefully I get more comfortable with that, but right now it's like, golly, it's weird.
Because I know you're doing a lot of videos, and I've done them as well. I mean, my Facebook Lives that we were doing, I was like, dude, why am I hunching my shoulders out and looking like this?
Oh, yeah.
I should have had my hair put to the left a little bit. Didn't I even look at the mirror? It is terrifying to see how you come off if you're really being honest. So expressing yourself, Craig, the second part of the golden circle. Holy cow. Is that harder for abandonment-oriented people or harder for engulfment-oriented people?
expressing themselves, the engulfment people is harder.
Harder.
Yeah.
Is it harder for the abandonment people to understand that you're expressing too much crap? Shut up. Or is it harder for the engulfment people to think, oh my gosh, I've said too much. I need to learn how to shut up.
The abandonment guy is going to be the one that says, hey, I'm saying too much.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Think about, and we've done shows on it. Episode 101, most recently, and episode 11. If you're listening to this in marriage, you need to check those two things out.
Yeah.
The fundamental realities of John Gottman's emotional focus therapy is what you need to know to understand what Craig and I just said.
Yeah, that's one of the most interesting things I've learned doing this podcast is the EFT stuff you've talked about.
Yeah,
and I can see that trait in people now. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
Even with your individual coaching experience?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's what I said. You're not like a normal Joe anymore.
I actually referred one person that I've worked with to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To those two.
You
I
need
do
to
that
listen,
all the time.
You need to
bro.
go listen to this podcast that we did.
I do that all the freaking time.
Yeah, I did.
Because it lays, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And it's a helpful part of what we do as coaching. It's a helpful part of what we do as therapy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Because you will get grounded into what I believe is the most fundamental thing that has helped me do therapy with couples massively different than I ever did before. Really. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've known Gottman for, I don't know, 7, 8 years now. I've kind of come across his material. It nails it. And when you think about expressing things to your spouse, what you're finding here is, holy cow, yeah, like, this is not easy for engulfment state people to do. And it's not easy for abandonment state people to shut up. Think about it. If I offer you 10 thoughts in like one sentence, are you going to get those 10 thoughts?
No.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Just
keep it simple.
Much.
Yeah.
Yeah. KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Or Sally. Or Smith. Or Sam.
Dumbass. Sally Smith, Sam. Holy cow.
We got to start marking our episodes explicit, man.
I know we're getting a little too comfortable sometimes, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Stupid's not explicit. What are you talking about?
Well, what did you just say? And I know I let something slip a couple shows ago.
I don't know. Well, we haven't gotten many feedback about us being inappropriate, so I think we're okay.
Yeah. Anywho.
All right, so learn when not to do this. And a particular challenge for abandonment people, like I said, either, use a lot of words or as few words as you can. And the thing is engulfment people need to use a lot of words. Like if you're used to just kind of giving a little bit at a time, like, dude, you need to say it in extensive paragraphs. Like, I will coach people sometimes. Pun not intended with your coaching. Sorry about that, Craig. But I will coach people sometimes. It's like, dude, when you're going to make a statement to your spouse, like, use a whole paragraph. Not just a line, not just a phrase. And I'll tell people sometimes, too, when you're from an abandonment perspective, dude, you need to be able to say what you need to say in 3 sentences. That's it. That's enough. Like, don't go and say the same thing 5 times in a conversation. Why would you do that? It's annoying. Right? So
because they can't help it. They're just they're abandonment people.
We really can't. It is so hard to be so simple and whatnot, man.
They get in that loop, that fear loop we talked about. They're feeding that fear wolf.
Go
man.
with that. Absolutely. That's a coaching thing that goes into EFT
I've got to save
direction.
myself. I've got to save this thing because that fear wolf, man, he's rearing his ugly head.
Absolutely.
You got to break the cycle.
Yeah. It's terrifying. And we're on a topic, then I got to say a lot, and I got to move a lot, and I got to really explain this. I mean, it's super important. And
yeah, people have what 50 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Somewhere between 80 and 90% of those are negative, and 95% of those negative thoughts are loops, fear loops, just reoccurring loops that we continually think about over and over and over and over again, and we can't control it.
Right. Right, and because the fear is so great.
Right.
If there is one thing that I can tell people, I've come to feel this way about young couples, okay? The idea that you feel so confident and so comfortable and so accepted, maybe, hopefully, but yet you become so fearful to say something that displeases your spouse. If you're listening to this and you're a fiance, I would love for you to understand when you think something, you need to be able to say what you're thinking. And so often people are afraid to say what they're really thinking to their new spouse. Well, I don't want to upset them. If you don't want to upset them and you won't say what you're really thinking, then you're going to develop resentments over years and years and years. And you're going to look back 10 years later and all these resentments have built up. It's a terrible thing to try to deal with. And I'm dealing with it in marriage counseling all the time.
It's like a ticking time bomb, right? Eventually it's going to blow up.
Absolutely will. Particularly when you have kids and you get more stressed.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot contain that because you've been holding things in for a long time.
That's right. You've been holding it in. The kids are off the hook. Your spouse is spending all the extra money. I mean, it's just...
Right? To go back to the money
here.
thing. And now I'm going to lay them out. I'm going to tell them what I really think and what I've been thinking for 10 years. It's terrible. And we laugh, but I'm telling you, man, I see these resentments in a therapy session just boom.
Yeah, we are laughing, but it's not funny. It's comical to think about it because you know what's going to happen.
And I literally just hit the glasses off of my face.
It's like Mount St. Helens is bawling.
Yes. And the point of it, as I got passionate during that moment, I literally slapped my hands to make that sound, and I hit the glasses off my face, and it was a dramatic moment. I didn't intend that. I just wanted to let you know what I'm thinking. But it's been stored up for that long. Dude, if you can be a young couple and understand that it's okay to let the other person know what I'm thinking, even though they may get upset with that, holy crap. Like, dude, I wish somebody could have told me that years ago. I didn't know, Craig. I didn't know when I got married that I could do that. Kind of still trying to figure that out. Right? Wait a minute. I'm kind of still trying to figure that out. 22, 23 years in? Lisa, please don't be mad at me. I don't know how many years it is in the moment. I have to do the math. 20 plus years in, and I'm still trying to figure out, like, is it really, really okay to say something that's going to piss her off? I don't like doing that. I'm not comfortable doing that today, sitting right here.
Well, you don't say things that piss her off, do you? I mean,
she agrees with everything I say. And if you didn't hear the sarcasm in that, there's
Neil,
a problem.
you better move back away from the table because there's about to be a lightning bolt coming through.
Let's see. Either use a lot of words. Okay, so this is often not a one and done thing either. I love blowing up for the abandonment people, Craig, or the engulfment people. Which one do you think? You cannot say something one and done. Think that you say it, you finally mentioned it, and they're going to know it forever. Does that affect abandonment people or engulfment people?
That's probably engulfment people.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I told him what I was thinking. I mentioned it. I voiced it. Well, like, dude, you said that in a sentence like about 3 weeks ago, and I'm supposed to know that? Nah. I love blowing up with the engulfment people, especially. One and done doesn't work. One and done doesn't get it done. That just came to me that way. I never said it that way. One and done doesn't get it done, Craig. If you're from an engulfment perspective. But you also don't have to say it 10 times, you abandonment people. Well, I've told them, and I told them again, and they didn't hear it, so I said it a third time. And then next week I wanted to reinforce it, so I said it a fourth time, and a fifth time, and a sixth time, and a seventh time. I don't know how they don't understand it, because I said it an eighth time, and a ninth time, and a 10th time. Doesn't it even sound annoying?
Yeah. And the engulfment person's probably tuned them out a long time ago.
Way.
They would shut up.
The
Jesus.
hell? Yes.
Shut up.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Person quit talking. Jesus.
Give me some space. I've heard it before, many times over. Yeah. Yeah, but then the engulfment abandonment sitting person there sitting thinking, I have no idea what you said when you told me. Are you kidding me? Did you really tell me?
That is so funny, man.
I have no idea what this is the first time I've ever heard this before, and it's only because you yelled at me.
That reminds me of that Looney Tunes cartoon where there's two dogs.
What's that?
And then one dog's going down the road, and the other little dog's jumping over him. Hey, George, what do you want to do today? We're gonna go. Shut up.
Exactly. I see it play out in my therapy office, bro. You want to overwhelm somebody? You want to lose them? Then do what the dog did in the Looney Tunes commercial. Jump back and forth over and over again. Say this and get excited about this. Say it again. Say it a third way and say it a fifth way and figure out how you can really say this in a unique way that they may actually hear this time. No. Short, simple, very clear, precise statements. That's it for you abandonment people like Craig and I out there. Courage is also needed in tandem with vulnerability. I tell you what, vulnerable. You like being vulnerable, Craig?
It's not something that's really that comfortable.
I hate it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do it, and I really have proven that. But boy, it's hard.
Not fun or easy.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And if you're not struggling with that with your
necessary
spouse,
sometimes, yeah.
What's that?
It's necessary sometimes, but
And if you're not struggling with that, then you've really disenfranchised yourself from the reality of way to live. You have to have courage in tandem with vulnerability to be able to express to your spouse. So the golden circle, right? We're killing it. We got acceptance. We have expression, right? I abhor the phrase. You ever hear anybody say this, Craig? I'm curious in your coaching with people. I just don't know what to say. I don't really have any thoughts about that. I'm stuck. You ever hear that people talk about that?
I've said that,
Right. You know what I have rephrased probably in the last couple to few years in my therapy practice? It dawned on me one day I was working with somebody in a therapy session. It dawned on me. He's like, no. That's complete bull pucky. Here's that for non-explicit. Bull pucky. You heard that phrase in a while? Bull pucky.
Bull pucky?
Bull pucky.
I hadn't heard that one in a long time. Maybe ever.
Bull pucky. You don't know what to say. No. You know what that means to me now?
What's that?
You are not willing to say what you're thinking, or you're not emotionally safe to say what you're thinking. That's what that means to me. And I have reframed that, if you will, to use your coaching terminology, interdicted on that thinking process with people. My words are cognitive behavioral therapy. I reframe that process into helping that person realize I am not emotionally safe enough to be able to say what I'm thinking in this moment. Or I am not willing to let you know, because I don't want to be that vulnerable, what I'm thinking. Because when you don't know what to say, I guarantee you in that moment, guarantee, I don't use that word a lot, 100% of the time, you are absolutely having thoughts about the topic, right? You almost can't not. So all you have to do is challenge yourself with the courage, challenge yourself with the vulnerability, and say that. But I don't. The words just don't come to me. I don't know what to say. No, just what are you thinking? Do you want to be close with your spouse? Then let them know what you're thinking. It is really hard to express those things. Let's move on to convey. The third of the golden circle of marriage. Accept, express, convey, and receive. Craig, do you have any idea what the definition of convey means? That's a tough word.
I don't think I do, man. Now that you're bringing it up with me.
Right? I was really, you know what, we like definitions on this show, right? Like, the definition of convey, when I was thinking about this, I was like, oh, we're going to spend a lot of time on expression because that's, expressing feelings. And we're going to spend a lot of time on accepting your spouse. Like, I don't know what the heck I'm going to say about convey. How do we convey things to our spouse? Think about it. You got to come at an unconditional agape love and accept your spouse. That's the goal. Then you have to develop vulnerability and the courage to let them know what you're thinking and how to go about that a little bit we've talked about and express to your spouse. But the whole point of what we're trying to do is to convey things to our spouse. Look at this definition. Transport or carry to a place. That's the definition. You convey. Wow, like a conveyor belt, right? That just occurred to me in a moment. When you have a conveyor belt, what's the point of conveying that package?
Well, it's to move it from point A to point B.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So when I developed this idea of, I don't know where this came from, to be honest with you, just my brain somewhere. Accept, express. I really don't even know where the convey came from.
Well, is communicate a better word there?
No, I think it's a perfect word. I do. I think it's a perfect word. Because the second definition is make an idea, expression, or feeling. Make known or understandable to somebody. Communicate. That is a word. But let's talk about communication. Now, we could do a whole show on communication. We're gonna have to just slice through in a little bit of an abbreviated fashion here in show 2 of the Golden Circle of Marriage. here's the big deal. When you want to carry to a place, what are you communicating about? What are you accepting somebody from? When you express something, what's the point of conversing on an emotional matter, particularly? You want to just stay stuck?
No, obviously not.
So you're expressing something for a reason. What's the reason? You just want to complain? You just want to criticize your spouse? You just want to express what you've held in for all these years we've been married and punish them?
Well, hopefully that's not the goal.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you just want to shut down and block communication, connection, conversation,
Again,
problem solving?
Hopefully not.
These are the things that we fall into traps of.
Mm.
No. We want to convey. This is where we're at. This is where we want to be. Let's figure this out together. Oh, there's a phrase, right?
I heard that before.
Right? Let's figure this thing out together. Here's the problem. Here's what's going on. And I want to convey to you some suggestions, some solutions, some ideas, some problems, some things I'm thinking about, some things I'm struggling about, whatever it might be. But the movement from where we're at to where we want to be is what we want to be able to do with the person that's most close to us in our life. Boy, if we can get good at doing that, how do you think marriage would be?
Be a lot better. Might be a lower divorce rate.
Right?
Yeah.
But boy, it's hard to convey something to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll tell you, this is what people come to therapy oftentimes. I will tell you in my chief complaint or the presenting problems, man, I mean, the reality of it is people want to come to counseling to learn how to communicate. And I'll leave you with the idea that conveyance is way more involved than just trying to get information and whatnot to your head. It's a simple it's a simple concept, but you know, people don't usually have a problem communicating, Craig, when they come to my office. When I say that, people's eyes rolls and they're like, "What is this knucklehead saying to me? He doesn't know what we're talking. He's never seen us try to communicate." But here's what I'll tell them. Communication is not really the fundamental aspect of developing a therapy relationship about marriage. You know what is? Developing emotional safety between you and the person you're most close to. Now, how elusive do you think that is? Emotional safety.
It can be elusive.
That's tough. To feel emotionally safe with the person who's most close to you. That's really the rub. And if you have emotional safety, communication's easy. If you don't have emotional safety, you cannot talk with your spouse whether you're going to get Coke or Pepsi at the grocery store. And that's where people are a lot of the times, because there's not a lot of emotional safety. And honestly, in the healthiest of marriages and such, I would submit to you that emotional safety has continued to be elusive throughout the years.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't want to let you know what I'm really thinking.
I wouldn't have thought that.
A lot of fear,
Yeah.
a lot of insecurities.
Hmm.
That's why marriage is so hard, right? It's not hard to convey your message. It's not hard to express yourself. You and I do that as friends very easily. You know why? Because there's not a whole lot of risk there. Craig's my buddy. I respect him. He respects me. I can say something that's off the wall. He don't give a rip. He's going to go along with his life. He's not going to worry too much about it. I don't have so much skin in the game. But my wife, terrified. As an abandonment person, oh my God, she may leave me, or oh, she's going to think I'm crazy, or I'm weird, or I don't want to let her to know that I really do that, or this, or the other. You know, we conceal those things, even in the healthiest of marriages. Unfortunately, we're afraid to express, but convey, to take us from here to there together. That's a whole nother level. The four horsemen is a Gottman's thing. And I'm going to be very quick in saying defensiveness, critical, having contempt for our spouse, and stonewalling. Do you think we've ever done the four horsemen, Craig, in a show?
No, we haven't.
We have not, have we?
No.
How have we not done that? Dude, I am a content pit. We can go on and on and on.
Yeah, it might be a good follow-up. I'm not sure what you got planned. It could be a good follow-up, though, maybe.
I think that's a done deal. Yeah, we're going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been determined. Yeah, you just determined it. We'll do John Gottman's Four Horsemen on the next show, and we'll do a little bit marriage thing 2 weeks in a row like we did parenting. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, so active listening combined with messaging. I used to diagram this in sessions. You know, what is active listening? How does this work? But now it's like, dude, again, communication's not the point. I don't need to figure out with you how you can communicate. Emotional safety is the goal. That's when you get those moments of emotional safety developed, that's the touchdown. To use a football metaphor, right? So we're going to finish up next week. Next week, I keep on saying that, dude. New format. When are we going to talk about next, Craig? Tomorrow. Little short doses of what we're talking about. We're going to talk more about conveying something with people, and then we're going to finish up on receiving your spouse. Ooh, being a receptive person. Do you know what the definition of receiving somebody is, Craig?
I'm interested to hear it.
You'll be surprised when I tell you what Google said receiving is. Between tonight and tomorrow, if you guys want to Google receiving your spouse, just Google receiving your spouse. You're going to be shocked what comes up. It's absolutely ridiculous, you know? So we're going to finish up the golden circle tomorrow of marriage, trying to get to the point of accepting your spouse, expressing things to your spouse, conveying concepts, and actually ending up on receiving your spouse. It's a little bit more challenging than what you think it is, which is why marriages struggle so much. Hopefully this has been a little bit helpful. Hey, like the show, okay? There's a little button that you can push on Spotify and whatever to get people and share the episodes, right? We love doing what we're doing with you here in the middle of the marriage episode, which is 3 episodes. Thank you for your help. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you tomorrow. Week, meaning day. See you tomorrow.